Hey, what is up, guys? Tyler here with Secure Team. We've got a lot of stuff to go through today, the first of which is some very anomalous, to say the least, moon footage from a couple of different missions, Apollo missions, when they went and landed on the moon. And what's so great about this is that we have film footage. It's not all still photographs where you don't know really what you're seeing. Is it a defect in the photograph? Is it actually something that was captured above the moon? And so when we have film like this, it gives us a much clearer picture about what we're seeing versus what we think we're seeing. So this video clip that I'm going to show you, which has a lot of anomalous things happening in it, and may feature one of the very first feed cuts, if you will. If you follow our channel, we've shown you a lot of International Space Station videos where these UFOs will appear, and then all of a sudden, the video feed is cut, and it goes to a blank screen. Well, we have what looks like the same type of feed cut or film cut here, where we have some very strange UFO activity happening before the film ends abruptly. So I will go ahead and play you this clip first, and you guys tell me how many UFOs you see in this footage flying by, and then we'll analyze it here in just a second. Alright, so this is from Apollo 11, and it was captured on the back side of the moon, which is the side of the moon that we never see and is purported to be the location of most of the alien bases, structures, and activity. And so as we're playing through this footage again, you'll see that they are orbiting the moon. They are filming the moon passing by below as they're flying around it, and there's actually two specific UFO incidents that happen in this footage. Now, you all probably saw the first and main UFO that we see flying down towards the moon, and it's a clear object, white or gray in color. It comes into the shot from the lower left corner of the screen and is flying down to the moon's surface, and it's very clear. However, this is not the only object that we see in this piece of film footage flying from space down to the moon. There's actually a second object that appears just before the frame cuts. So watch very closely here, and you will see another object come into the frame from the same position, flying down towards the moon, and then the video ends and goes to a title card. Now, if you didn't see the second UFO, let's go ahead and play it in slow motion here. And the feed goes out. Something we're very familiar with. But did they really cut the feed? And in this footage, as it is not a feed, I mean it's a piece of film, but it is strange that they cut it just as this second UFO appears. Because it definitely displays that we have multiple objects suddenly coming from space and heading down to the moon as they're circling around it. But there's something else that we need to address, and that is the fact that when it comes to NASA's moon footage and their images, it has been pointed out by many researchers in the past that NASA has gotten very tricky with the way that they present a lot of this film footage to the public. We have found that in many of the Apollo film recordings, a very sneaky tactic that they will use is that they will flip the video image upside down. So you're already getting an incorrect view of the moon. And as you're watching this footage, this is actually an incorrect view. So let's go ahead and flip it around to the correct view so that you can more clearly see these UFOs coming into the shot. Alright, so here we are. You're seeing the correct perspective. So the objects are now coming from the upper right corner of the screen. We see the first object come down, And now we see the second object appear flying down toward the moon before it cuts out again. So now that we have corrected the perspective, and again, this is one of the many tricks that NASA has done in order to distort what you're seeing, because you're not actually watching things at the correct angle. But not only do they show things inverted or upside down, but they have also been known to play clips in reverse. So when you watch some of these film clips, you're not seeing them in the manner with which they were recorded. You're actually seeing a piece of film footage that's being played in reverse, which again causes more problems when you're trying to review the footage. So now that we've corrected the perspective, let's go ahead and play this footage in reverse, showing you what may be the correct version, and where we are not seeing objects from space flying down to the moon, but we are actually seeing these UFOs exiting from the moon and flying out into space. And so there you have it. When you're watching this version of the clip, you're actually seeing that second UFO first, directly at the beginning. It happens very quick. And just before the clip ends, you're seeing the main UFO as it flies up from the surface out into space. So, very compelling footage, either way you look at it, with these objects, either coming down to the moon or flying up from it. Now, another thing that we point out about this, we're going to go back to playing you the footage in which it's originally played, but we are going to keep the perspective corrected. And as we're watching this main UFO, the one that we can clearly see flying down, I've also noticed some strange flashes of light down on the lunar surface, appearing on the rim of one of these craters. And this happens very quickly, so we'll go ahead and zoom in here, and it almost looks like we're seeing something reflective down on the moon, almost as if you had a metallic, circular, or saucer-shaped craft where you see this glint of light sort of moving around the edge of something circular and metallic, giving you that sort of metallic glint, wrapping around something very quickly. So here's that main object, zoomed in, passing by. Now if you didn't see it, let's go ahead and slowly reverse the frame, and I want you to put your eye up toward the top right-hand corner on the lunar surface, right here where I'm circling, and you'll notice these strange flickers of lights that appear just before this UFO comes into frame. Here we're zoomed in even further, and again, look at this area right here, and look at these little flashes of light, or what are possibly reflections off of something sitting down there on the surface. We're going back and forth here, and then as we zoom back out, we see the UFO come into frame and fly down towards the moon. Very compelling footage, a lot of things happening. We're seeing these strange flashes of light down on the surface of the moon, which is something that the Apollo astronauts on various missions have spoken about, seeing these strange flashes of light down in the lunar craters. Here is a piece of film footage from the Apollo 8 mission, showing what may possibly be one of the first pieces of video evidence from the moon showing these strange flashes of light that were seen in craters. Here's another clip, and these are all from the Apollo 8 mission, where we see these strange flashes of light appearing down on the surface. And it really makes you wonder, are these lights signaling something that's up in space? Almost as if to say, we are being watched by these astronauts who have just arrived from Earth. We can also refer to images like this taken from the Apollo 14 mission, where similar objects, these glowing blue objects, were captured while they were down on the surface of the moon, sitting high above, eerily watching them. And this is one of my favorites here. I mean, look at this thing. Let's go ahead and zoom in here, and I'll put the link to this down below and you can check it out for yourselves. But despite this bluish glow surrounding this object, you can actually see the structure of the UFO, and it's just sitting up above as they walked on the moon. Here is another shot from the same mission where they captured the same glowing blue object. This time, up in space, they have left the moon and are on their way back home, and this same object would seem to be following them. And so, I guess my main point here is that there was a lot more activity happening on and above the moon than simply that of the Apollo astronauts. The Apollo astronauts were not the only ones there. Their spacecraft was not the only craft that were at the moon, orbiting the moon, and also landing on it. There were a lot of things happening, so we've done past videos on that. Check those out and let me know what you guys think. Now, on to some UFO sightings and some other strange happenings around the world. Here you're seeing some photographs, and we also have a video clip of a very anomalous light pattern captured in the sky on September 3rd, just a couple weeks ago, over Orange County, California, at around 9 p.m. And as you're seeing, it just have this very strange curved line or formation of lights just kind of sitting in the sky, but they're all perfectly in a straight line, perfectly spaced apart. We're showing you some different images here. Here is a short video clip of the lights, so check this out. Now, this was taken directly from the video that the source posted and sent to me. He runs his own YouTube channel, which is called Face Like the Sun, and who is actually a researcher himself. So I will put the link to his channel down in the video description. Be sure to head over and like his video. And yeah, strange lights in the sky. He said that this was also taken near Pendleton Marine Corps Base. So the question becomes, could these be military lights? Could this be a drill of some kind? Let me know what you guys think. And big thanks to Gonzo for sending this over. Be sure to check out his channel. Now, speaking of other strange lights in the skies, here's a video. It was recorded off of I believe it's a weather camera overlooking the San Francisco Bay, and the source was recording it off the screen of what appear to be a triangular formation of lights sort of hiding up in the sky. They're not very reflective, and it would seem that they're only being illuminated by the city lights below. But although it's kind of a grainy piece of footage here, you can definitely see these three objects in a perfect triangular formation sitting somewhere near the San Francisco Bay Bridge and skyline. These things aren't a reflection from the videographer. You can actually see the reflection of the videographer's camera, but this, whatever this is, it's definitely in the webcam footage and is definitely sitting in the sky near the San Francisco skyline. So anybody in San Francisco see this thing or have a better shot of it, let me know. A lot of strange lights and objects being seen all over the world. Here's some strange lights recently captured over Colorado. So check this out. Alright, so this is a really strange clip. I'm not sure what to make of these. We see these formations of lights. We got 4 lights in the sky at the beginning of the clip. They begin moving Other lights are sitting completely still. We have various lights disappearing and then reappearing. We see these two lights here go out, disappear, and then come back. Meanwhile, we have another light that moves over, and then it's like they come into this triangular formation. And the fourth light's completely gone before, one by one, each of them disappears, leaving only the one lone light, and then poof, it's gone too. So, I mean, what is going on? This particular clip was over Colorado. I'm not sure what the city is. I wasn't given the city in the email. I'm waiting to hear back from the source of this, so as soon as I know something, I'll post an annotation over the video letting you guys which city it was, so maybe you guys who saw this can let me know or give us some more information. Now on to some strange photographs that have been sent in. This one here I'll show you first while we're on the topic of strange formations of lights in the sky, taken in the UK. And we're seeing a photograph of the Birmingham city skyline. The source said that a family member of his was snapping pictures of the skyline, noticed these strange lights in the sky later on when going through the photographs. And again, we have another one of these formations of perfectly spaced out lights in the sky, very similar to the first clip we played for you out of Orange County, California, very similar to the Phoenix, Arizona lights of 1997, where we had another perfectly spaced formation of lights just kind of sitting in the sky. Sometimes they make the shape of a triangle, other times they're in a straight line or a V shape. We've seen a lot of those, but it's all very bizarre, and it can't all be natural. And there's nothing natural I can even think of that would account for these strange lights appearing. So, big thanks to Richard from the UK for sending this over. One other photograph that I want to show you guys, sent to me from Andrew in Tulsa, Oklahoma, who had snapped some pictures of something, an object, moving through the sky, pretty far in the distance, he said in his email, and he said it just seemed to sit there. He said that he first noticed it as he was driving on the highway, and he got on the exit ramp and stopped in order to snap some pictures. Now, some people said hot air balloon, but he wasn't so sure about that. Here's probably the best shot where the object is not being obstructed by the power line, and we'll go ahead and zoom in here. And I'm not so sure that that's a hot air balloon. I mean, it almost looks like an upside down hot air balloon, where we have this teardrop shape here. And I don't see a basket hanging from it or anything like that, so if it is a hot air balloon, it's a very strange one. So definitely wanted to show you guys. The source in Tulsa wanted to get our input, so give me your input down below. Now, in the last video we posted, we were talking about these strange burial mounds in Japan and how we found an identical mound on the planet Mars. And so it brought up all these questions about whether there's an alien link between Earth and Mars and how we've been finding these identical structures, as well as on the moon. And so it drums up a lot of theories about whether we have been visited before and whether the human race actually came from another planet, which is why we're seeing these strange structures that would seem to match very closely. And today I'd like to finish off with another very strange land anomaly, this time in Siberia. And that is what you're seeing here, which has come to be known as the Potomsky Crater, which is this really strange, almost crater-looking mound that was discovered in Irkutsk, Siberia in 1949. And it was discovered by accident by a geologist who stumbled over this massive mound and had no idea that his discovery would spark one of the world's strangest scientific mysteries. So you're seeing an image from that here. And this crater, as it's called, has baffled scientists for decades. And there have been countless theories about its existence, how it got here, which have ranged from a nuclear blast to a secret gulag mine, a meteor strike, an alien installation of some sort, and many more. The current thinking about this is that the site was created by a meteor strike. However, there is no evidence that has been found to support that theory. And there are so many questions about this, well, what has been called the most mysterious place in Russia. As a matter of fact, one of the strangest things is the fact that there seems to be a lot of radiation surrounding this object, and that trees will not grow on or directly near the structure. Now, radiation levels are a lot lower now, but there is evidence that they were once very, very high, and we don't know why. There have been a number of expeditions to this mound by various scientists, and no one has come up with an answer as to who or what created this strange structure. Stories have been handed down by native people and locals who have known about this, quote, cursed crater. Long before Mr. Kolpakov, who you're seeing in an image here, discovered it and revealed it to the outside world. Among these stories by the natives were warnings that this, quote, devil's place was dangerous to humans. Now, these kind of freaky and eerie legends about this haunted crater didn't scare Vadim Kolpakov when he discovered it back in 1949, even though the local Yakut people told him a story about an evil place hidden in the woods. They called it the Fire Eagle Nest, and according to them, even the deer didn't dare go close to it. The locals also told him that people would suddenly start feeling unwell or even disappear, later found dead if they got too close to it, and some of which were never found again. In a recent 2005 expedition, the head researcher of a mission to the crater died suddenly within only a few kilometers of the crater. It's also been stated that the object routinely changes shape or slightly moves in its location, and that heat has been found to radiate from the object. So the question remains, what could have brought to life this strange object that is 250,000 cubic meters of underground rock that were pushed to the surface in this very strange round shape? The origin of this object continues to be a mystery. Let me know what you guys think. It's definitely a topic of further study. It's just another one of these strange, ancient structures scattered around our planet. Few people know about it, and I'm sure there's many more, and there's a ton on other planets, not just ours. So let me know what you guys think about everything we've talked about here today. If you have your own sightings or have any new information about the sightings we've spoken about, be sure to shoot me an email, and we'll get all the info we can and publish it for you guys. So thanks for stopping by. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe on your way out. And as always, be sure to stick around because I've got a lot more coming, and I'll see you guys back in just a bit.